And no, I was not to blame. Not on this occasion. Good morning, guys. Well, transit's sitting over there, as you can see. Working on the dashboard with that. You should see the video shortly. But today I am working on the old Chevy here. Now, a couple of months back we ran into an issue. The ignition key got lost in here somewhere. It was put down and we have not been able to find it since. And no, I was not to blame. Not on this occasion. So, what we've got at the moment is, I haven't been able to get an actual ignition switch from the US, but this is just a standalone, I don't know what brand it is, but it's a standalone, just basic ignition switch. So I'm going to put that in. What I'm hoping to do is, it should fit straight in place of the old one. So right now I'm just going to disconnect the battery and yeah, we're going to get on with it. So here we go. So it's rather interesting how this is actually wired up. This here, this basically heavy armoured cable goes right through, and this goes directly to the back of the ignition switch, and it provides the main power to the coil. Obviously that blue wire there is the one we've put in just to get us started to move around in here, but yeah, interesting. So it's got to figure out how to take this out. Okay, I don't know how well you can see that there, but where's she at? There we go. That's her there. I got that screw out there, and there's one on top of her there somewhere. And then she just should pop out, in theory. Okay, that's her out there now. So I've got to figure out how to get this cable all the way out from the engine compartment. Yay! Okay. So far so good. Now just got to disconnect it under the engine compartment and we will pop her all the way out. Okay, where are we at? Well, that's her there. Goes all the way to the coil here. Back through there. So if I just disconnect her from the coil, that, in theory, should be that. So, let's get it done. Well, there she is. Quite an interesting piece of engineering. But the tape on there, that is the actual original screws from this. I've taped them on there so then when we do actually find an original or a new one, reproduction, whatever, in case it doesn't come with the screws, we've already got them there. So, put this away somewhere safely. And yeah, we'll start installing the new switch. There we go, that's the new switch. Obviously it's a modern one, but yeah, that should do nicely for the time being. Now this one does actually have the start function on it, you know, so it's like click ignition on, click again, and kicks the starter over, but I won't be using that because this has the foot switch which still operates, so there's no point in messing about with that, but it'll give us an ignition switch anyway, that's the main thing. Anyway, let's make sure she fits. Oh yeah, she fits in the hole nicely. Obviously she'll come that way, but yeah, this is going to work nicely, so let's start figuring out the wiring. Okay, one thing I have had to do is make a little shim basically. The main problem is that the retainer is actually too big for the hole, so this should, where are we at, basically go up there. As you can see, I've made it offset because I needed to pull it away from that top edge a little bit because that goes right up against there, so I've just offset it a little bit, so it'll work. Anyway, yeah. Okay, we've got the switch. Focus. We've got the switch down there, temporarily hooked up, and see if we can turn it. Can't turn it with one hand. Where are we at? Okay, let me put this down a second. And there we go, the fuel gauge is working. So we've got ignition. Don't seem to have any ignition lights, but I don't think we had any on this to begin with. So, but got a fuel gauge. But yeah, all I've got to do now is put an ignition feed in, and we can call it a day. Well, coil is now hooked up. What I'll do is I'll remove those temporary wires we had. But I'm leaving them there just for the moment, but I'm going to get the switch installed now. So, one thing I am going to do is, I'll disconnect the battery, but I'll wrap those contacts just to seal them up, just to make sure nothing untoward touches them, because the last thing we want is a fire. So yeah, I'll disconnect this battery now, and then I will get that sorted and get the switch bolted in. Okay, so one thing I am having to do is, obviously I've got it all nicely taped up there, but I need to make a spacer. Oh, I need to make it a little bit larger, but yeah, I need to make a spacer that'll sit kind of there. Where are we at? There, just to space it back a little bit. But yeah, so far so good. Okay, that fits better. So let's pop her in there and just take a first look, see what she looks like. Obviously I've got the doodah that goes on the front, and don't know whether I'll use this retaining nut or not. We'll see anyway. Well, that's her in there now. And we have ignition. Hey. Okay, I don't know how well you can see here at the moment, because there is a huge black cloud coming over, so there we go. A little bit of choke, and there we go. Now that is a win, and it does actually look quite good in down there. Where can we see where we're at? Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not original, but it'll do until I'm able to get back to the States and get one, so cool. Well, I'm going to bring this video to a close. Hopefully I will have something on the Transit in the coming week. I have been a little bit ill, so I haven't gotten as far on the Transit as I'd hoped, but I have gotten quite a bit done, so we will see in the video anyway. Anyway, that's it for now. Going to move this old girl back into her parking spot and call it a day. So, as usual, like, subscribe, come back and see me sometime, and have a good one.